Good morning, Jackson, Mississippi, and all surrounding areas. You've tuned in to the free-range human show of choice. Your daily dose of reality radio starts now. This is Clay Edwards. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We're live here on 103.9 WYAB, and we will not be celebrating Pride Month here on the Clay Edwards Show, so if you're expecting any rainbows, butterflies, or any of that stuff, you've come to the wrong place. All right, with all that said, we have got some guests in the studio this morning, and we are going to get started with that, with the school shootings apparently back on the rise, and the mass shootings in general back on the rise in America. Your personal safety and the safety of children in your classrooms and all that kind of stuff is going to be very important moving forward. What are you going to do to protect yourself and to protect those kids? We've got in studio Miss, I have my notes here, Christina Moody, Chad Winkler, and Mark Shannon. And they're going to talk to us today about some upcoming classes that are going to be going on at Boondocks. That's right. Is that right? So, Chad, we'll start with you.
Well, just glad to be on the show. Christina and Mark have kind of taken the reins on this one of the classes we have been wanting to do for a while, but had never been able to implement just because of, everything else that goes on in the training world. And so they stepped up and said they want to do that. So we're happy to help them with that process. We're doing a active shooter training class for school administrators. That was something we launched in 2018 after the Parkland shooting, and they're launching a train a teacher thing, which is something that I've been keeping my eye on for a few years now, and I'm just glad they stepped up and wanted to take the reins on that.
Yeah, well, Christina, so I was perusing on Instagram the other day, and something I'm known to do, play on the internet, and I saw a post that, hey, we're going to be doing a class, a free class. Mm-hmm. And that's the key here. This is free. Right. This is to help people out that may not have the means or, somebody new to this, right. to this lifestyle, self-preservation lifestyle. Right. And I was like, man, this would make, it's timely show content. So I reached out to you, and you were like, yes, I'll come on the show. So, Christina, kind of tell us, how did this get started? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your event.
Yeah, so
pull the mic a little closer.
We are both a part of the USCCA instructors, and was kind of cruising through Facebook, saw the National Train a Teacher Day organization, started researching it. I have a soft spot for educators because I'm one myself. So I've been teaching at Hines Community College for about 5 years now. And started doing some research on it and said, hey, let's jump on this. Let's offer kind of a free course for instructors. This course is meant to be educational. We're not proposing that teachers necessarily carry guns on campus. We're just looking to educate, kind of get a conversation started. The course is also not meant just for schools. We're looking, this is for home, this is for gas stations, this is the very basics of gun safety, how to get started, situational awareness.
And also, so anybody who works in the school is invited. Correct. From lunch lady to janitor to teacher to principal. Yes. Anybody.
Yes, and we're including daycare workers too. If you're in a daycare, if you're with kids all day and you're in a situation where
soft targets.
Yes, if you're a soft target. So this is open to anybody who is working with kids, teenagers, even community college instructors. If you're one of those, this is open to you, and it is completely free. You don't need to bring a gun. You don't need to bring ammo. That is being provided. So
I want to make sure we hit this a couple times as people are getting in and out of their cars this morning. How do they get in touch with you? How do they sign up?
Absolutely. So you can go to the Boondocks website to sign up. You can also just shoot us a text or call 601-345-1189. Again, that's 601-345-1189. You can text, call, you can go to the website, sign up. You can also go to USCCA website. The class is listed on there. All you need is your email and phone number, and then we'll kind of do the rest from there. So, yeah, we're really excited. We do have a limited number of spots available, so it's not going to be a huge class. We want to make it personable to where, this does include range time. We want to make sure that everyone has a chance to shoot.
And that's on June 18th at Boondocks.
June 18th at Boondocks from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Yes.
And Mark, where do you come in on all this? You going to be an instructor on this course?
Yeah, I will be an instructor on this course.
Pull the mic over to you.
Okay. Christina was always interested in training with a firearm, and I kind of got her into that, and then she just kind of blossomed to where she is now. She has a real passion for it. We both have a passion for training new people. We're kind of like the type of instructors. We don't have an ego involved, just friendly people. We've noticed most people are intimidated when it comes to firearms training. So we're wanting to start with people who are brand new. And with the teacher deal, it's mainly just to get the conversation started, because we got to have change in the schools.
Well, I'm amazed at how many people have just never held and shot a gun.
Right.
I mean, it's especially here in somewhere like Mississippi, a deep red state, where there's a lot of people who have never held and shot a gun.
Well, and a lot of those people that have never done it actually own one.
Yeah, very true. Very true. And for anybody out there that wants to call in, the Mac Hike and Flowwood phone number is, that was a mouthful, Mac Hike and Flowwood phone number. The phone line is 601-879-0002. The Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. And I want to play something for you guys out there. I stumbled across this bit of audio last night. This is the White House spokesperson. So if you think Washington, D.C. is coming to save you, teachers and students and kids out there, this is directly from the White House.
Problem is with guns and not having legislation to really deal with an issue that is a pandemic here in this country, and so that is not his focus, obviously. And when it comes to schools, and I don't know what he said specifically about schools. I know there's been conversation about hardening schools. That is not something that he believes in. He believes that we should be able to give teachers the resources to be able to do the job that they're meant to do at schools. So
without playing the whole thing, and one of the first things with public speaking that they teach you if you go to a Toastmasters class is don't say and she says a lot, and it's annoying. But Joe Biden has said we have no intentions on hardening schools. So, but they do want to get the teachers the resources they need to teach the students well. So, I mean, I'll give them an A+ for that. Unfortunately, this is not going to teach them survival and how to survive a mass shooter. And this course will at least help you give you some knowledge. Is there some stuff in it you're able to discuss here that may, outside of firearms training, some of the stuff they're going to be teaching, or is that going to be more than one you're doing, Chad?
I think it'll probably be both in there. So there's a couple things that just one, awareness is a huge aspect of that, but also having a plan to know what to do with that under those circumstances. And so, where you played that portion where they don't want to harden the schools, okay, fine. I know schools in our area that are hardened schools. I know schools that have school resources officers and stuff, and those are all part of the conversations. But what I think that Mark and Christina are going to do, and some of the stuff they bring forward and the stuff that we're going to do in our free class is, what do you do when those fail? When the school resource officer is not on site or has been taken out by the shooter and they get through the hardened school, you have to give those students and those teachers the information they need to know how to respond. Now, is that with a firearm? The teachers are going to have to make their own decisions on that aspect and deal with their local laws on that piece of it. But there's a bunch of other stuff that you got to know what to do and how to do it.
Yeah, my daughter went to a quote-unquote hardened school where you had to get buzzed in the building, this, that, and the other. But I would have to think that if you get a psychopath who's hell-bent on killing children, that he will also find a way in that building. Or if you're able to get into the front door, who's to say he doesn't shoot the first 2 or 3 people he sees standing there at the office, the check-in thing, and walk right on through?
Right.
I mean, hardened school sounds great. Oh yeah, well, it's another measure. It is a layer. It's
right.
better to be hardened than not. But what happens when that fails?
Yeah, the Sandy Hook was a hardened school, and he shot his way in. So
yeah, exactly. And without peeling the onion back too far and getting into exactly what happened or what went wrong in Uvalde, that's what you would have thought that the police would have done to get into the classroom when all that was going on. But I wasn't there. I don't want to nitpick exactly what happened or what didn't happen. But don't think anybody's coming to save you.
Nope.
You're going to have to protect yourself, and these courses are going to help you do that. All right, we're going to take a break real quick. You're listening to The Clay Edwards Show. We are joined in studio this morning by Christina Moody, Chad Winkler, and Mark Shannon with Boondocks, and we'll be right back on The Clay Edwards Show.
America. You love your country, so it goes without saying that you also love your ride. And Auto Armor in Flowood wants to help you make that ride shine. Auto Armor in Flowood is Central Mississippi's premier automotive detail and ceramic coating shop, servicing any type of vehicle, including ATVs, boats, and more. Need just a quick detail or paint correction? Auto Armor can make it happen. But if you're set to hit the road in a blaze of glory while flying the old red, white, and blue, Auto Armor should be your first and last call to give your ride a full ceramic coating. Auto Armor is locally owned and operated by the loud and proud American patriot Clay Edwards. Auto Armor also proudly backs the blue, all military, and first responders. So don't forget to ask for your discount. Call 601-260-0858. 601-260-0858. Or stop in today, fellow Americans. Auto Armor is located at 4394 Mangum Drive in Flowood. Online at AutoArmorMS.com. Auto Armor, unapologetically American.
All right, welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. This segment is going to be brought to you by Mac Haik of Flowood, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. If you're looking to sell your vehicle, trade your vehicle in, or get a new vehicle, check out Mac Haik, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Flowood. Located right there at 4000 Lakeland Drive. You know where it is, right there at Airport Road and Lakeland Drive. They've got a huge selection of new vehicles and trucks. I rode by yesterday. A lot of other dealerships around town have big old empty lots. Mac Haik of Flowood does not. Their dealership is packed with inventory. You can check it out online at MacHaikCDJRF.com. Or just go to Google and type in Mac Haik Flowood if you can't remember all that. But Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram of Flowood. MacHaikCDJRF.com. All right, I am joined in studio this morning by Christina Moody, Chad Winkler, and Mark Shannon. They've got a couple self-defense training courses coming up out at Boondocks that are free to the public. And that's why we had them on this morning, because anytime somebody's offering a free service to people that's timely and can help save lives and save their lives and their kids' lives and their students' lives, I think that's worthy of some airtime. I ran across Christina's Facebook post, and again, I know people are in and out of their cars this morning, so I just want to make sure I get this out there. Christina, the first course is June 18th.
Yes.
And that is the school employee.
Correct.
Anybody from the lunch lady to the principal and everybody in between.
Yes.
Daycares, church daycares.
Yes.
Soft targets with kids.
Soft targets with kids.
Are welcome to come to this thing, free of charge. But they do need to sign up because it is limited, first come, first serve.
Correct. It is first come, first serve. It is limited. To sign up, you can call or text us 601-345-1189. You can also go to the Boondocks website or the USCCA website to sign up.
Okay. And how long have you been doing this as far as like these classes and whatnot?
So I'm relatively new to the classes. Just became a firearms instructor a couple months ago. Got hooked up with Chad out at Boondocks. Boondocks has been bought out, so it's under new ownership now. So we're just kind of getting things ramped up. I've been shooting for quite a few years. Got hooked up with Mark on that and have been doing that for a while. So the classes are relatively new, but we're super excited to kind of help Boondocks get started and get some new classes out there that haven't been taught before.
And I guess what spurred this was the Texas shooting.
Yes. So the Texas shooting is kind of what started it. The National Train-a-Teacher Day has been around for quite some time, about 5 years, but kind of took a break during COVID. The recent shooting in Texas kind of got it geared up again. So June 18th has been declared National Train-a-Teacher Day across the nation. So the hope is that on that day, multiple states will participate in helping train teachers educate, teach situational awareness, gun safety.
So that's neat. I wasn't aware it was a national day now. So at least there is a movement to get some teachers trained.
There is a movement to kind of get teachers trained across the states. So we're excited to be a part of that.
So without telling everybody how the sausage is made exactly, there are some school districts and schools around here who have reached out to you guys at some point in time or another and have done some training.
Yes, we've done some active shooter training in several different schools around here. After the Parkland High School shooting, we had a class for school administrators, and so immediately after that, we had a lot of the private schools come out and reach out to us and say, we want to implement this in our school. And that's why the class that we're doing focuses on the administrators, because those are the decision makers that will decide whether they want to allow this into their school or not. So we've done several of those, and we've talked to a couple of public school districts, and we're still working in those areas. But just idea is to get out there and help them understand the difference between what they're doing now as a training technique and what's available to help them at least have decisions they can make on how to best respond. And I want to touch back with what Christina said. So they're relatively new instructors in that aspect of that, but they've been shooting for a while. And I work with a lot of instructors. I have certified instructors all across the state. There's a difference between the instructors that are out there because, hey, I want to go and be able to do this as a hobby and make some money and that kind of stuff. Their Mark and Christina are a little bit different. I can see the passion behind them, and that's why I was excited when they said they wanted to come out here and do a class like this, because they're donating their own time, probably going to donate some of their own firearms and their own ammunition to do all this kind of stuff. And so that's the mark of a good instructor. Somebody's passionate and doing it because they want to help other people and not looking at it, what's in it for me. And so that's why I'm excited when they came to me and said, hey, we want to do this. I'm like, great, this is awesome.
Well, yeah, that was the same reason I was given the free radio time. She had messaged back and was like, was it going to cost anything? I was like, no, I think you're offering a good public service here. And these are the kind of things that we like to get out here. We do a lot of charitable type stuff here on the show. And I was like, this is something that maybe we can avoid having to start a GoFundMe to pay for somebody's funeral if we train them not to die or what to do in a situation like this.
Right.
And parents, teachers, just so y'all are out there listening, and I know we have a bunch of both, without mentioning the school name, there is one school district here where they give the teachers a can of wasp spray and a hammer. And I get, hey, it's better than nothing, but that's what you're up against. That's taking a can of, it's literally taking a hammer and a can of wasp spray to a gunfight. You're probably going to lose, so if you can get these skills to hopefully save yourself and the children in your classroom, I highly recommend getting out to one of these things. Administrators, that one is on the 24th of June.
23rd and 24th. We're doing 2 different sessions.
Okay, great. And they can sign up for that at Boondocks.
Right.
What is the website?
Boondocksfta.com. And then if you look on the events tab, all of this information is listed on the events tab.
Excellent. Then y'all's is June 18th.
Yes.
Like I say, I just think that this is something everybody, if you have the opportunity to do this, I would be disappointed if this thing ain't booked up by the end of the day. This is your opportunity. It's summertime, and I'm guessing this is on a Saturday.
It is. It's on a Saturday, and it's only 3 hours. So we're doing like an hour and a half class time and then an hour and a half range time. So it'll be well split. It'll go by fast. It'll be a lot of fun.
I'm looking forward to that. And Chad, yours is a situational awareness that doesn't require a firearm necessarily.
That's right. Ours is a non-shooting course. Like I said, we've done this one in 2018. We had 2 sessions, a morning and afternoon session. This year's actually going to be a little bit different. The new owner that took over Boondocks recently worked in the Secret Service, and he's adding a couple of sessions in there. That it was originally a 4-hour course. Now it's a 6-hour course, and it's determining dangerous behaviors is a one that he has created based on his Secret Service background, and then also a suicide prevention one. So this is also very interesting from that standpoint, from the school administrator aspect of that, to be in those pieces, because how do we identify these dangerous behaviors, and also how do we help prevent some of these suicides that are going on in our schools and stuff. So that's going to be a section on the front end of our class, and then the active shooter stuff is going to be on the back end of that piece of that. So.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the suicide stuff, because last month was Mental Health Awareness Month here. I guess it was nationwide, not just in Mississippi. We had a couple guests on the show throughout the month talking about that, and one of the topics that came up repeatedly was the suicide amongst our teenagers coming out of COVID, and what happened, the terrible incident that happened in Jackson, I think at Murrah High School, where the girl got up and jumped off the bridge there. Yeah. It's like the signs were there. I think, of course, hindsight, we all have the ability of hindsight, because do you really think anybody's going to do that, right? It's like, man, they're just talking.
Right.
They're just talking. But I think we're seeing more and more and more they're not. So I can definitely see where something like that will come in handy. And I just appreciate you guys doing this, because we live in these crazy times now where you never know what's going to happen. We always think, here we are in Mississippi, we think it can't happen here, but this was one of the places that this kind of stuff started.
Right.
And Pearl wasn't the first, but it was definitely the one, I think, that really kicked it into high gear, because then Columbine happened shortly after, if my memory serves me correct.
Right.
I went back and looked the other day, because everybody always says Pearl was first. I'm like, no, I think
There's one in Kentucky.
Yeah, it was one in Kentucky. They actually go back further than that, but if you just start in the 90s, I think there was one in Kentucky, and then Pearl was 96, and I don't think Columbine was till 98.
The very first school shooting has actually happened back in the 1800s. It was actually ironically, at Virginia Tech, which were the most deadly school shooting aspect of that. And then the first big mass shooting, school shooting, was actually University of Texas Austin from the tower shooting aspect, 1966. So where the guy was actually using a bolt-action rifle, shooting down on people in there, and then you students went to their cars and got their guns and shot back at him to stop him from killing more people, and gave cover to the people to go up to the tower and take him out.
Well, that's the part that the history books don't tell you.
Yeah.
You know, let me Google wipe that clean real quick. We can't have people knowing that good guys with guns stop like bad guys with guns.
It's just like the lady in Virginia with a handgun that stopped a man with an AR-15 from committing a mass shooting the day after Uvalde.
Absolutely. Look, we got a caller here on the Mac Hike of Flowwood phone line. If somebody wants to have the headphones on there, we'll pull them in. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, Clay.
Hey, what's up, brother?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there a school shooting in Wingfield back in the early 90s, late 80s?
Man, I would have to check. I didn't get my driver's license till 92, but I did grow up over there, but I don't remember there being a school shooting at Wingfield. That ain't to say.
I think there was a guy, and I may be wrong, but I think there was a shooting there in the parking lot. I don't know if it was gang or what it was, but I'm pretty sure there was.
It may have been. I mean, there's a lot of school shootings, and the way the FBI and the classify mass shootings is anytime more than one person gets shot, but it doesn't get politicized like the big ones do. But at the end of the year, it gets counted as a mass shooting. That's why you'll hear there was 150 mass shootings last year in America, but you only heard about 2 or 3 of them on the news because they're able to politicize those.
Well, let me ask you guys from Boondocks something. Since this shooting, have you noticed all your carbines and your AKs and stuff like that going up?
I haven't really been paying attention to that as far as gun sales going up. I suspect they will, though. Current events will drive that. Will drive those sales.
Yeah. Daniel Defense, which y'all know, that's one of the guns that the guy supposedly used. I know Marty Daniels. Met him years ago at SHOT Show. I got a feeling they're going to be the first one he goes after. I really do.
It would not surprise me.
And they're a decent-sized company, but they're not Remington. They're not Ruger. They get a $20, $30 million lawsuit. That's it for them.
I agree.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it is. Great. Guys, don't have a great day.
An event like this happens, and it goes to politics.
Yeah, the gun law. So I owned a bar for years, and if we overserved somebody, and they left and had a wreck, even if we didn't overserve them, if they had a drink, if they came to the club sauced, and they left and never getting a drink from us, it's our responsibility. Because we even let them in or we let them leave as if you're supposed to be a big babysitter. Mm-hmm. Well, if no laws were broken with this guy getting a gun, then I know why and politically how and all that they can sue him. The gun company's not liable for that.
No.
I mean, that's like if a guy goes in a gas station and buys Budweiser, gets sauced and wrecks and kills somebody, Budweiser is not responsible for that. Neither is the gas station, in my opinion. But, all right, look, we got another call here. On the Matt Kike of Flowwood phone line. Hey, caller, you were on the air.
Hello, my name is Bill. I just wanted to add a couple of things. I just heard, starting first with the Pearl shooting, if everyone will recall, it was actually either the principal or the assistant principal went and retrieved his handgun from his glove box of his personal vehicle and stopped Luke from going over to the, I believe it was the Hines Community College campus, confronted him in the parking lot. And then to add to the shooting the guy was asked about late 80s, early 90s, I believe there was a possibly suicide, homicide at that school.
At Wingfield?
At Wingfield, yes. I believe it was like a 16-year-old girl or something like that did happen. But main point I wanted to bring up that, look back on the Luke Woodham shooting, and it was the principal or assistant principal retrieved his personal firearm from his vehicle and confronted Woodham in the parking lot, which led him to being disarmed. So that's all I wanted to get. Y'all have a great afternoon. Listening to y'all truck driving up here in Tennessee.
Hey, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man. Stay safe out there.
Yeah, have a good one. Thank you.
Yep.
Right, bye-bye.
Yeah, I can't remember that staff's name. His last name was Myrick, I believe, at Pearl. And I think he faced a lot of legal ramifications because of that. But
fast forward to now in these courses, this is why our teachers need to be armed. I mean, I'll gladly fall on the legal sword to save lives. I mean, I think most people will in the moment. I mean, it's self-preservation at the same time. I hate to sound selfish about it, but it's like if it's you or me, it's going to be you.
Right.
And so a question I'd had earlier before we even went on the air was, is it even legal for a teacher right now, without going through all the national hubbub about arming teachers, can a teacher have a firearm on their body, on themselves, wherever, in a school? And you were saying with the enhanced concealed carry, they can, but there's probably still something in the paperwork where they can get fired?
Yeah, so the state law, there's no law that says you can't carry a firearm in a school if you have the enhanced carry portion of it. But there will be something usually in the school district's handbook that says you can't do that. So it necessarily won't be a gun crime aspect of that, but more of a policy procedure where they can and probably will fire you for that aspect of that. So
it's mind-boggling to me that we have armed security everywhere. Like, I can't go down to the Capitol in Jackson today without going through a metal detector, armed security, the whole 9 yards. And heck, when I had the nightclubs, all of our trained security guards, our off-duty police, were armed to protect a bunch of drunks, and people having a good time, not just drunks. But for some reason, it's frowned upon to protect our children. I just don't understand. I guess the argument is they think they can be overpowered and the gun taken. But what's the difference in that happening and somebody just bringing a gun into the school?
Right.
What are the odds if you're playing don't seem high enough to bet on that happening?
Yes. So to me, I'm not opposed to teachers being able to carry a firearm. What I would say in that situation, there's a whole lot of additional responsibilities you got to be willing to take on as a teacher if you're going to carry a firearm in that process. To me, if you're going to carry a firearm, period, regardless of the profession, there's a whole lot of additional training to do. The enhanced carry class, the basic class, is just the driver's permit type stuff. It's very basic, so you got to go beyond that. And I would encourage teachers, if they're going to do that, to take that piece of it. But it's more the mindset too about the Noblesville, Indiana school shooting that happened just a few months after Parkland. Teacher was trained in there. They didn't have a gun. Those student came in there. They implemented the stuff that we're going to cover in our class in June. They implemented that in that school. And when that student came in, their teacher picked up a basketball, threw it at the kid, and then rushed him and tackled him. Nobody died in that incident. It was over before the school resource officer ever made it to the classroom because they didn't have a firearm, but they knew how to respond. So.
And that's another one I had not even heard of. But, so much stuff happens in this 24-hour news cycle. It's a huge story until it's not.
Right.
And then, boom, it's on to the next one. And I was listening back yesterday at some of the things that have happened over the last 4 or 5 years. Like, I forgot about the El Paso. They start rehashing these. I had not forgotten about Parkland because we got David Hogg out of Parkland, and he won't go away.
Right. And if you look at, again, so Parkland was February 14th of 2018. May 18th of 2018, just a few months after that, was Santa Fe, Texas shooting.
That's at El Paso. I meant Santa Fe. I'm sorry.
Santa Fe. But there was 10 people killed in that. That was the top 30, one of the top 30 mass shootings that ever occurred in the United States. It never made the news cycle because the guy used a shotgun and a revolver.
Yep.
And so it died down.
Not an assault rifle.
That's right.
Didn't fit the narrative.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break real quick. You're listening to The Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back on 103.9 WYAB. The Edwards Show. This segment is going to be brought to you by Raymond Farmers Market. Get out there today for lunch or dinner. You order off the menu Tuesdays and Wednesdays. You got burgers, sandwiches, fresh made sides from scratch. How about try the firecracker chicken sandwich? That's a spicy grilled sandwich. They also have the 9-ounce ribeye steak sandwich, and that sounds phenomenal. What's better than steak and bread? Things that I can't eat on my diet. Bread. Chicken wings and much more. And also, starting tomorrow by popular demand, they are now doing barbecue on the menu, not just selling bulk to go. So you'll be able to go out there and get ribs, pulled pork, and whatever else they have there to offer from the barbecue selection. Friday night is fried catfish night, locally sourced from Simmons Catfish Farms in Yazoo City. And Saturday night is the main event. That is steak night. You can get the 10-ounce filet, the 16-ounce ribeye, or the 3-pound, big enough to feed 3 tomahawk ribeye. For reservations or more information, check out RaymondFarmersMarket.com or just go on Facebook, type in Raymond Farmers Market. All the information will be available there. And if you have any questions, 601-909-8500 is their phone number. All right, I'm joined in the studio this morning by Christina Moody, Chad Winkler, and Mark Shannon. They're going to be offering a couple self-defense and situational awareness classes for educators and administrators and pretty much anybody who works in a soft target with kids out at Boondocks Firearms beginning June 18th and then again on June 23rd and 24th.
That's correct, yes.
The 23rd and 24th, just out there in case you're driving and can't look at your calendars, is a Thursday and Friday, not a weekend, so plan accordingly on that. And let me throw this out there, too, something we were talking about during the break. With these courses being offered at no charge, it's easy to commit and back out. I'm asking you that if you commit to these things because space is limited, please follow through. I think that's respectful to do in any situation, but just sometimes you just got to hear it out loud.
That's right.
Because you may be taking a spot away from somebody who was going to follow through and couldn't go, and that could end up costing lives down the road. I mean, I hate to go to worst case scenario there, but this is what we're dealing with here is worst case scenario.
That's right.
So we were talking during the break, Chad, and you mentioned run, hide, fight. Now, that's a phrase that I'd never heard of here talking about school shootings. Could you give people a little background on that?
So for a long time, the mantra has been lockdown. Lockdown was actually devised as a situation actually coming out of California, as far as I can trace it back, where students were outside, or students were inside, and there was the shooting outside, and they told them, get down on the ground, shut the windows to prevent getting hit by the bullets coming in house. It was never designed to be a situation for when somebody is in the school. And so in 2012, when they had the Aurora, Colorado shooting, the city of Houston had been working on a new mantra for that, was a run, hide, fight. Instead of lockdown only, they were trying to give these people options to do. Run out of there if you can get out of there. If you can't, hide if you can. If you can't hide and the shooter comes in the room, then you got to fight back with whatever tools you have necessary to try to save your life. And the federal government was like, no, we can't tell people to fight back. Well, shortly after the Aurora, Colorado shooting, when the federal government adopted the city of Houston's mantra of the run, hide, fight, and that's been the active shooter mantra now for a while. But still, agencies, school districts, that kind of stuff are slow to implement this stuff. So it's important that if you want to come through our administrators class, that's what we're dealing with, talking about those things and showing you what that means in the run, hide, fight aspect.
Man, I don't want to be contrarian here just for the sake of it, but I don't need an administration or a school district to tell me to run, hide, or fight. I believe our survival instincts are going to take over, and
right.
I'm not. What does the handbook say do when bullets are flying at me? Good Lord!
So that's why you need the plan it. So when it does happen, you have standard operational procedures to fall back on.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we got another call here on the Matt Kike Flowwood phone line. Hey, Derek, you're on there, brother.
Hey, good morning, brother. Hey, I got something that'll help out tremendously. Can we please stop the media from always throwing out the word assault rifle, weapons of war. I'm like, that's not even what AR stands for. It stands for armor light rifle. And I was speaking with my wife this morning. She's like, well, why do people got to have semi-automatic? I said, honey, my handguns are semi-automatic. Don't let those little words deter you. And, because, remember, words have meaning. And I think the biggest thing is when you classify something that it isn't, that's the biggest damage to being done. Just like when there's always a dog attack, first word they throw out is pit bull. Well, in reality, there's only really one recognized pit bull, and it's the pit bull terrier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
What the media does is that they want to not only misinform you about firearms, but they want to disinform you.
Exactly. Because you guys know, when there's a dog attack, first word they throw out is pit bull. And those dogs are far from pit bulls.
Yeah, I was watching Tucker last night, and it's about the only news program I watch anymore. But I was watching Tucker last night. He put together a montage of this weapons of war phrase that they've moved on to. And that's their new buzzword, weapons of war. So now they're brainwashing the masses into thinking that, any kind of semi-automatic gun is a weapon of war. And I got a chuckle out of, I shouldn't laugh, I should probably cry, but out of Biden's comment about a 9mm blowing the lung out of the body. I believe that's what he said. Yep. And in my mind, I'm like, it's supposed to. I mean, I know it's not literally blowing the lung out of the body, but I want to incapacitate whoever catches that. It's not a warning shot anymore. It's not a non-lethal round if I shoot my 9mm bullet or any other at you. It is a lethal. I'm intending it to be lethal.
Well, again, Clay, the issue here isn't gun control or stiffer gun laws. We got enough gun laws on the book. The issue is that this country has ignored mental health. We did away with the asylum system. Then you got states such as ours that are just releasing them on the street. Like they're going to actually have enough decision-making skill to take their medicine or not. That's what the real issue is.
Oh, yeah, look, Rogan said it best the other day. We have a mental health problem disguised as a gun problem in this country, and I think I could go on and on and on about the mental health problems in this country being disguised as other things. But, yeah, I couldn't agree more. Look, Derek, we're going to jump off here, brother. I appreciate you.
Uh-huh.
Right. We got a text in on the Guns and Gear text line that I think makes a lot of sense, too. It said, let's see here. It said, when I think of assault rifles, what comes to mind are fully automatic guns, not semi-automatic. And I can agree with that. If we're going to make up a name for assault rifles, I mean,
look how the ATF defines assault rifle. It's a gun with a selector switch with full automatic capabilities.
Yeah, I think the problem is most idiots out there think AR stands for assault rifle.
Armalite.
Yep.
Invented by Eugene Stoner.
It's interesting that the AR somehow become the boogeyman in this whole scenario, because there's other guns that could do a lot more damage out there, but for some reason the AR, because it's the popular gun in the 80s or early 90s, it was the Uzi. That was the one.
Right.
And then,
well, and if you look at the statistics, the top 30 mass shootings in the United States, over half of them were not committed with AR style rifles. So Virginia Tech handgun, Fort Hood handgun, the Washington Navy Yard shooting handgun. Those are some of the top in the country, and they were never had anything with an AR. So I wanted to touch back real quick too on it's the run, hide, fight process. So in the 1900s, we had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of school children die in school fires. The last one was in 1958 when like 75 kids were killed in a school fire. They implemented fire drills. We haven't lost a kid in a fire drill since 1958. I mean, in a fire since 1958. This is what the policy takes a long time to implement. So the run, hide, fight mantra is launched a few years ago, but we got to educate those teachers and those schools on how to deal with these situations. And until we do, they're just going to be locked down and, unfortunately, unable to defend themselves.
It's like fishing. I mean, people use the term shooting fish in a barrel, but that's it. I mean, that's what happened I hate to be the guy to say it, but that's what happened in that classroom last week. Was that guy was shooting fish in a barrel? Your kids were fish,
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
could you imagine having 20 fourth graders and you hear gunfire and you're like, run? Well, run where? Do the kids know to run away from the gunfire?
Yeah.
Well, probably what's going to happen, they're all going to be prone on the floor in a parasympathetic nerve response, and now you got to get them up. Or where's the teacher's training for that?
Yeah, I mean, one kid covered herself in her classmate, had the wherewithal. I mean, kudos to cover herself in the classmate's blood to play dead.
Right.
And that classmate was alive for a while after that, and because of the delayed response, was a whole other show for another time. But what a disaster!
Right.
What a disaster.
But she didn't run because nobody's ever given her permission to run.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever said, "Hey, if you need to get out of this classroom, leave the classroom." All she knew was lockdown.
Well, and with that said, where do you run when you're in a room? I'm guessing not much bigger than the studio with a locked door and a guy with a gun.
Yep.
I mean, people need to run in.
To me, locking that door gives you enough time to break this
out the windows. That's right.
I'd rather fall from the second story than. I mean, I think they were on the first floor, so it's a moot point. But we're on the second floor here. I'd rather take my chances with the ground.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, look, we're going to take our last break here. You listen to the Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back on 103.9 WYAB. All right, welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. We're just going to close out with this. I'm joined by Christina Moody, Chad Winkler, and Mark Shannon. Christina, give us the details on your event on the 18th.
Yeah, so we're having a free basic safety and situational awareness handgun class for all educators. This is anyone who works in the school district and even anyone who's in daycares. So if you're an educator, you work with children or teenagers, this class is for you. It is on June 18th at Boondocks in Raymond from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's a 3-hour class. You don't need a gun. You don't need ammo. That will be provided. Just bring eye and ear protection. To sign up, you can call or text us at 601-345-1189, or you can go to boondocksfta.com and sign up.
All right, Chad, you got about 20 seconds.
Yeah, so ours is going to be the free active shooter for school administrators class on June 23rd and 24th to be identical sessions. So it's going to be for anybody in the administrator's role, and go to Boondocks website and sign up.
All right, it's boondocksfta.com. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, and I will get you in touch with them as well. Thank you for tuning into The Clay Edwards Show. The podcast will be available shortly, and you can always go to clayedwardsshow.com.
Thanks for listening. Tune in tomorrow at 7 a.m. as The Clay Edwards Show discusses all that is going on in and around the city of Jackson.
This concludes our broadcast day.
Right here on 103.9 WYAB.